Welcome to another basic science class. And before we just go over to our topic today, we have a question which is, who provides first aid? To start with, what is first aid? Have you ever heard of first aid before? Or maybe you've been seeing some kind of box and you just put something with red paint, first aid on it, and you'll be thinking that whenever there's an accident or a minor accident in the school, you see someone rush to pick it, or they take someone to the sick bay and they brought the box and they were trying to apply some stuffs on the wound. So, but who provides first aid? Is it the doctor that provides first aid, or is it just anyone you understand that provides first aid? That leads us to our topic today, which is school accidents. And by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to list the common accidents that can occur in school. That means common accidents that can occur in the school environment. Then define first aid and also outline the basic first aid steps. You should be able to outline the basic first aid steps. So accidents that can happen at school. You already know that accident can happen anywhere actually, but we just choose this major ones, that's home, road accident, and school, because they are peculiar to us as students, and that's why we pick those ones. So accident can happen anywhere, including at school. Some common accident can occur at school, like some common accident that can occur at school include slips, trips, falls, and minor cuts. So for example, slips occur when this floor is slippery due to water, oil, or other substance. Even banana peel lying on can make someone to slip on the floor, and this can happen after cleaning or when it's raining outside. Perhaps it was raining outside and you went to use the restroom. Maybe your restroom is outside and you were just coming, you were not even being careful, your shoe or is already wet, and with that excitement you were just coming or rushing to class, you can slip and fall in the process. To prevent slips, always walk carefully on wet surfaces. Maybe they just mop the floor. Walk gently, walk carefully on such wet surfaces. Then especially near the entrance or in the bathroom. If you see a wet floor sign, it means the floor might be slippery, so be extra cautious so that you won't slip and fall. Number 2 is trips. Trips can happen just like you saw in that video. That is a trip. You know, when you eat your food against something and you lose your balance, that is trip. Trips happen when you accidentally hit your foot against something and lose your balance, and it can happen anywhere, especially in school. So maybe you were just trying to rush into your classroom and you were not minding the step or the staircase, and so you're just about to step on it, you accidentally hit your foot or you miss your step, you can trip and fall. To avoid tripping, make sure your shoelaces are tied properly. You know, sometimes if your shoelace is not tied properly, it can get attached to something and you didn't know, and you're still trying to walk, you drum bag, and before you know, you trip and you fall. And keep your school bag and belongings out of the walkway. Also watch where you are going. You can see in the picture, the lady there didn't watch where she was going and she tripped and she fell. Watch where you are going and pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your surroundings. Falls can occur when you are not careful on stairs, playground equipment, or when playing games. Yes, maybe you're just rushing down the stairway or you're rushing up and you were not being careful, you can miss your step and fall. Even on the playground equipment too, if the playground equipment are bad, as we earlier discussed in one of our videos, if the playground equipment are bad, you can fall too there. Or when playing games, maybe when you're playing your football and in the process of running, you can slip and fall. Always use the handrail when going up and down stairs. When playing, follow the rules and guidelines to stay safe. If you do fall, try to get up slowly and ask for help if you are hurt. The minor cuts. Minor cuts can happen when using sharp objects like scissors or when handling things with sharp edges like your blade. So how do you prevent cuts? Be careful when using sharp tools, and always point them away from yourself and others. Point them away. Maybe you are trying to sharpen your pencil with your blade. Don't point the pencil to yourself and be sharpening it towards you. It can lead to cuts. Point the pencil away and sharpen out, so that you will not have a cut on your hand or on your body. So if you get a minor cut, wash it with clean water and soap to prevent infection. So let's look at first aid. First aid. First aid. What is first aid? First aid is the immediate help and care given to someone who is injured or suddenly becomes ill before medical professionals arrives. You know, our induction question was like, who provides first aid? Is it a doctor? No, a doctor does not provide first aid. A nurse does not provide first aid, actually, because they are professionals. So from our definition, you know that anyone that is trained can provide first aid. So it's just an immediate help that is given to someone who is injured or suddenly becomes ill before you have proper medical attention or proper professionals arrive at the scene to assist the person. It's like being a good helper when someone needs it. Being a good helper when someone needs it. So what are the first aid materials, things that you find in the first aid box? You have bandages, gauze roll and pads. You can see them in the picture there. Instant cold pack. You have elastic bandages, emergency blankets, antiseptic wipes, thermometer, adhesive tape, first aid manual to guide you on how to use it, those things there. Then safety pins to put your gauze rolls in place. Then you have triangular bandage too. You have scissors, you have tweezers, you can have your forceps too there, gloves. You know, your safety first, that is it. So before you even start attending to anybody, put on the gloves first. So that maybe there's blood, put on your gloves, then before you start attending to the person. Then emergency contact information or medical information for family members. In an organized school, this should be in the first aid box, where you can easily, maybe the emergency contact information, maybe of the nearest hospital that you can easily call through and that to come and take over, or medical information for family members which contains the person's basic knowledge of the person's family lineage, like the blood group, genotype, and height, and the rest. You should have them, and even their family members' phone contact, you should have them in the first aid box. So what are the principles of first aid? Principles of first aid. Number one is to preserve life. The principles of first aid is to preserve life. Number two is to prevent deterioration. That means, you know, sometimes when you don't quickly attend to people, somebody who fell or who has a burn, for example, as I earlier explained in the previous video, at least if the person was quickly attended to, there won't be blister. But if there's no quick attention to the situation, the wound, the burnt part of the body might form some blisters, which can lead to some wounds later on. So it's to prevent deterioration, promote recovery, and also taking immediate action. For example, if there was a fall in the school and the person is bleeding, if you don't take immediate action, the person might run out of blood, get anemic, and faint, and it will lead to more complicated medical situation at hand. But if there's immediate action to stop the bleeding, the person will be safe. Calming down the situation, to help calm down the situation and make everybody calm. Also calling for medical assistance, to help call for medical assistance and also apply the relevant treatment. And you know that these treatments are not concrete, actually. I mean concrete in the sense that they are not comprehensive enough. It's just first aid to help the person, to stabilize the person before proper medical attention is rendered to the person. So these are the principles of first aid. So let's look at the basic first aid steps. Number one is check for danger. Check for danger. Before helping someone, make sure the area is safe for both of you. Perhaps you were in a classroom and the ceiling fell. Before you rush there and you are trying to save the person, make sure, or the building fell, for example, make sure that the environment is safe. You should be safe. If you are not safe, you cannot save other persons. So you don't want to get hurt while trying to help. Or for example, now maybe even out of the school, there's an head-on collision. You should be safe. You should be sure that the environment is safe first before you try to render help. Check for danger. Number one thing is to check for danger. Check for danger before you try to offer help to the victim. Number two is check for response. If you see someone lying still, gently tap them and ask if they are okay. If they don't respond, shout for help. Don't keep quiet. Call for an adult. You know, some persons have been charged to court on the basis of this, because they thought they were the one who killed the person, because immediately they saw them, they didn't shout for help. They were trying to resuscitate the person. So when you see someone lying still and the person is not responding, don't keep quiet. Shout for help. Shout for help and call for an adult, so that to also make you free from whatsoever allegation that might want to arise later on, peradventure, if the person lost his or her life. Number three is call for help. Call for help. If the person is not responding, you know, number two is check for response. Number three is call for help. If the person is not responding, after you've asked the question, are you okay, and the person is not responding, you need to get an adult's attention. Don't try to do it by yourself and try to see what you can do. Get an adult attention. Tell them what happened and that you need help. Call for help. Number four is treat cuts and scrapes. Treat cuts and scrapes. How do you treat cuts and scrapes? Wash your hands first. Wash your hands first. Then also put on your gloves if your gloves are available. Then clean the cut gently with water and soap. Dry it with a clean cloth or tissue or a sterile bandage. Bandages. Then put a clean bandage on the cut to keep it clean. Put a clean bandage on the cut to keep it clean. Number five is, how do you assist someone who fainted? That is number 5 step. Assist someone who fainted. Lay the person down on their back. Lay the person down on their back. Raise their legs a little to help blood flow to the brain. Raise their legs a little to help blood flow to the brain. And I must say that you must make sure that the environment is not congested. Give way for ventilation. Let there be proper ventilation in that environment. If people club together, tell them to give way so that the person can have access to ventilation. Then stay with them until they wake up. Stay with them until they wake up. Number 6, help someone who is bleeding. How do you help someone who is bleeding? Number 1 is put on gloves if you have them to protect yourself. I said this earlier on. Put on gloves. You need your protection first. Put on gloves to help them to protect yourself before you help them. Then use a clean cloth or bandage to press on the bleeding area. This way, the pressure you are applying on the bleeding area will help to stop it from further bleeding. Then keep pressing until the bleeding stops. Keep pressing until the bleeding stops. Then bruises and bumps. Apply ice. If you get a bump or bruises, you can put a cold pack or ice wrapped in a cloth on it for about 15 minutes. This can help reduce swelling and make you feel better. If you check on the first aid material, you can see a cold pack there. It is for bruises. So you can just trap that ice on it. Wrap it with cloth for about 15 minutes. It helps to reduce swelling and make you feel better. Then number 2 is rest. Sit down and rest if you're feeling dizzy or hot. Sit down and rest if you're feeling dizzy already or hot. Don't wait till you fall. Rest. It's okay to take a break and wait until you feel better. Just okay to take a break and wait till you feel better. And number 8 is nose bleeding. Nose bleeds. So how do you help someone whose nose is bleeding? Number 1 is lean forward. Tell the person to lean forward. If your nose starts bleeding or somebody's nose starts bleeding, tell the person to lean their head slightly forward, not backward. You know, most time you tend to tell the person to raise their head backward. No, it's wrong. So tell the person to lean forward and try to pinch your nostrils, the person's nostril together with your thumb and finger this way. Your thumb and forefinger. So you press the nose together. Then ask the person to breathe through their mouth. Or you breathe through your mouth while keeping your nostril pinched. This can help the This can help to stop the bleeding. This can help to stop the bleeding. Then how do you support someone with a sprain or fracture? Help them rest and keep the hot area still. Help them to rest and keep the hot area still. Then put ice. Talked about it, is just to reduce swelling. Put ice or cold pack wrapped in a cloth on the hot area to reduce swelling. Also, if the person can't move the hot part, support it gently with a soft object like a pillow. So if the person cannot move it, instead of you trying to push the person or trying to make the person make use of, maybe for example the leg by force, no, don't do that. Support it gently with a soft material, soft object like a pillow. So for burns, cool burns, hold the burn under cool running water for at least 10 minutes. You can put it under your tap for 10 minutes. And as I said earlier on in the previous class, I said you can put salt, you can apply salt on it, then cover it with a clean cloth or plastic wrap to keep it clean. And don't make this mistake of putting butter or oil on the burns. It will not reduce it, sincerely. Don't put butter on it, don't put oil on it, don't apply it on it. So it's the best to do is to put it under running water, or you can apply your salt on it. So we want to look at roles of teachers. Do not forget we're looking at school accidents. So what are the roles of teachers and staff in providing first aid? And we've already ascertained that anyone that is trained can provide first aid. Anyone that is trained can provide first aid. So what are the roles of teacher and staff in providing first aid? Assess the situation. They help to assess the situation. When a student gets hurt, teachers and staff will come to see if they are okay. You understand? They might ask some questions to understand what happened and how the person is feeling. They want to make sure you are not hurt, the person is not hurt badly. So they have to assess the situation to know what happened, what went wrong, and how they can be of help. Number 2 is they provide comfort. You know, if you are hurt, teachers and staff will try to make you feel better. They might tell you that everything will be okay and help you stay calm. So even if you see a friend maybe that is hurt and you go to offer help, you see that the person gets comfort and the person becomes a bit relaxed. That's what teachers and staff also do in playing the role of first aider. Number 3 is administer basic first aid. Teachers administer basic first aid. Teachers and staffs are trained to help with small injuries like cuts and bruises. Did you see the word trained? They are trained to it. That's why I said that people that apply first aid, people that are first aid are trained to do that. So teachers and staff are trained to help with small injuries like cuts and bruises. They can clean the wound and put a bandage on it. But for bigger injuries, or if the person is feeling really unwell, they can call the parents or the school nurse or take this person to the nearest hospital. So importance of reporting accidents to school authorities. Importance of reporting school accidents to school authorities. Most time, when there's a slip or there's a fall or there's a trip or there's a minor cut or major or minor accident in the school, sometimes the student just keep it to themselves, but it's not good. You need to report it to the school authorities, and you will see the reasons why you need to do that. Number 1 is getting help. When you report an accident, it helps the school know that someone needs help. So you don't wait to manage the situation till it's getting out of hand and the person is almost dying before you raise alarm. No, immediately there is an incident in the school, you should report to the school authority. You can call for a nurse or a doctor if the injury is serious. It's important to let adults know so that they can take care of the person. Don't try to keep it. Don't try to keep it to yourself. Number 2 is preventing future accidents. It can help to prevent future accidents. When accidents are reported, the school can figure out why that happened. Maybe there is a place where a lot of kids sleep. It's not just one person or two, and it's becoming often and often. Or maybe something needs to be fixed to make things safer. So when you report to the school authority, they put these changes in place, and when they make these changes, they prevent more accidents. So it has helped to prevent future accidents. Number 3 is taking responsibility. When you report an accident, you are being responsible. It means you are looking out for yourself and your friends. So this helps everyone stay safe and happy at school, because when you even report it, this accident at school can happen to anyone. It can happen also to staffs. So if you don't report to school authorities, they might not know. So a staff too can also have accident in that same environment. But when you make sure to report, they can make necessary correction changes that it needs to be, and also it helps you to make sure and to take responsibility. It means you are responsible. You are responsible in the fact of looking out for yourself and looking out for other students and also the staff and authority of the school. So today we have looked at school accidents, and that it is that accident that happen in the school environment. They happen in the school environment, and we've looked at the first aid box and what it contains, then who can offer first aid, and why you need to report accident to the school authority, and also the roles of teachers and staff in providing first aid. So very quickly, we're going to look at questions using the Bessel app, the Examguide Bessel app. So if you have not gotten this app, please do so. Get it as often as possible, as quick as possible. It's very important for you. For proper learning and understanding, you need this app. So I have a question here. It says, which of the following is not a principle of first aid? Which of the following is not a principle of first aid? Which of the following is not a principle of first aid? We have be calm in dealing with situation. B, allow victim to see blood. Is it a principle? C, never give fluid to the victim. D, determine the extent of damage. E, give the urgently needed help first. So which of this is not a principle of first aid? Let's assess each of them. Be calm in dealing with situation. Yes, if you are not calm, you cannot deal with situation. Allow victim to see blood. In most cases, that's not how the victim might not see blood. Maybe when there is a cut, the victim will see blood. Eh? See, never give fluid to the victim. Yes, this is very important. Never give fluid to the victim is a principle of first aid. Then determine the extent of damage. You have to determine the extent of damage. You will know if it's something you can undo or what you need to call for help for. You understand? Or for proper medical attention. Then E is give the urgently needed help first. So the right answer there, the option that is all, that is not a principle of first aid, is allow victim to see blood. I'll take another question, after which I'll allow you to check out for some by yourself. Say an item in a first aid boxes used to remove foreign objects is A, razor blade. Do you use razor blade to remove foreign objects? B, bandage. Do you use bandage to remove foreign objects? C, hydrogen peroxide. Do you use that? D, forceps, and E, plaster. So let's examine each of these options. Razor blade. You don't use razor blade to remove objects. You use it to cut something. Bandage is used to band the wound, to dress the wound. Hydrogen peroxide is used to clean wounds. Used to clean them. Forceps, yes, forceps, you can use it to remove foreign objects. You can use it to remove foreign objects. Plaster is also for binding the wood. So the right answer there is forceps. G. Forceps is the right answer. It is used to remove foreign objects from wounds. So see you in the next class.